from WBNE.
Howdy, yokes. Before we get started today, we want to let you know that this episode of Bacon and Eggs is brought to you by our patrons. If you want to support the show and make us the happiest creators in the world, then you can go over to patreon.com/baconandeggs to check out all the great reward tiers we have there. There's a bunch of really cool stuff, and I think we're going to switch it around a little bit. I kind of want to do a thing where, like, at a certain level, at the end of every episode, we read your name. I kind of want to do a thing like that. So I think we're going to do that as a thing. So keep your eye on our Patreon. Things might change soon. But the reward tiers that exist, I don't think are going anywhere. Maybe the ones that aren't used at all, but I'm thinking about the thing that I was just talking about. Yeah. Anyway, go to patreon.com/baconandeggs. If there's other stuff you want to see us do, then, send us a little email to baconandeggsmedia@gmail.com and say, I'd love to see you guys do this, or how else can I support you? And we'll maybe come up with something. A lot of times, though, what we really need is funding, which we totally understand if you don't have. Like, that's fine. You don't have to give us money, but, like, that's a lot of times what we do need to keep things going around here. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for donating. Patreon.com/baconandeggs. Let's get to it. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill.
And today we're getting the family back together.
Or maybe we're just posing.
So name a pig after your fake husband.
And buy vests with lots of buckets.
Because today we're bringing you
Black Widow.
Ethan, Black Widow was directed by one female and 0 males. Kate Shortland.
Yep.
Came out on July 9th, 2021, 5 days ago as of this recording. $200 million budget, already made $166 million at the box office, plus another $60 million in Disney Plus subscriptions. Not subscriptions, but in the $30 Disney Plus. So it's broken its $200 million budget, which is probably not the fastest because there's been some cheap movies that have gone out, but it's definitely like the biggest deal since, like, Onward.
Yeah,
sort of
since the things went away.
Since everything went away. We got an 80% critic rating and a 92% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, only a 67 on Metacritic. Ethan, do you have a negative review for me from a professional critic?
I do. I've got a negative review here from Maya Phillips, the New York Times. And Maya says, Black Widow never feels like more than just a footnote in the story, a detour that holds no weight in the larger MCU narrative except to set up Yelena for a larger role in the future.
I actually take issue with this review right here. Because
before you take issue with it, though, I want to hear a positive review.
A positive review. I can get you a positive review. Let's see. Come on. Nobody in England liked this movie.
Oh, my God. Just read one from an American.
Okay, well.
Most of the Brits haven't seen this movie. It's not out there yet, I don't think.
All right. This is from Melanie McFarland at Salon.com. In all the ways that matter to an MCU fan, Black Widow the film meets or exceeds all expectations. It is a killer action flick and a unique viewing experience. In that, I loved it, and the fact that I loved it also makes me livid.
Makes them livid?
Livid, yeah. Now I'm actually, this is the first time I've ever been intrigued to be like, ooh, what's the full review?
Right, yeah. I've got a review here from Carrie, a fellow host on WBNE Network, a listener review. And Carrie says, 96 out of 100. I love seeing women just be awesome on screen.
I wholeheartedly agree with that review. I've got Liam 2.0 gives it a 59 out of 100. They say pretty good, nothing groundbreaking, but it didn't need to be. Entertaining, but the reveals were blatant.
So you wanted to take issue with my positive review or my negative review?
I do, because
you can do that now.
I think we sit here and we talk about how we've got these big old Avengers Endgame movies and everything has to be connected. And the biggest problem with the last MCU movie that came out was that, like, it leaned so much on Tony Stark, even though he's dead and not even in it. And then finally we get this sort of well-wrapped package in Black Widow. I don't think it needs more weight in the larger MCU.
I don't know. It does suffer from the Rogue One problem, though.
What? No stakes?
Where, like, it doesn't matter in any way.
Well, but it does, because going into it, I think that was a concern, was that this isn't going to matter in any way. But coming out of it, now we know Yelena is going to be a character moving forward. The David Harbour's character is going to be a character moving forward. They just haven't been a part of the narrative just yet. So I think actually going into it with the expectation of none of this matters to the larger MCU narrative, I came out of it you know what? They surprised me. Now I've got stuff to care about.
Okay, so 0 out of 100. What do you got?
I very much liked this.
Okay.
This is where I'm at. This may be a recency bias. I may change my mind down the line, but I'm at an 88 on this one.
Okay. I'm going to go right for 80.
80? See,
yeah. But I do want to preface, to some extent, and this has nothing to do with any of most of the actors or really most of the writing. But this is like an 80 out of 85. There's a 15% they never had because whatever his name is that Ray Winston plays is the worst MCU villain we've ever seen on screen.
Oh, you didn't like
that acting was the worst thing I've ever seen.
The acting was very, very bad.
The whole third act of the movie is garbage.
I disagree that the third act is garbage.
I didn't care about that villain at any point.
Okay, I didn't care about that villain at any point, but what I do like about this one as opposed to some of the other ones, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you can correct me, but it felt different when I was watching it, was that they discovered this guy was still active and they were like, we're going to seek him out. We're going to go take the battle to him. Which I know is the Avengers moment, right? That Hulk punches the giant giant air dragon thing. But I don't know. To me, that was an interesting twist of, the Black Widow and the family is this sort of conniving, sort of morally ambiguous group. They're definitely doing the right thing by killing the guy that runs the Red Room, but
sure,
they're going out and fighting. I don't know. I thought it was good.
Yeah. Again, the first two acts of this movie are brilliant. Great. Excellent setup for this villain that we're going to get. And then they just is this big swing and a big miss for me at the end. The pheromone luck thing.
Oh yeah, that was stupid.
And just it just felt okay, so he's like a Mandarin type character, right? We're gonna get the real villain here in a minute.
Nope, it's
bad use of Taskmaster.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think there's
cop-out use of Taskmaster.
There's definitely more that can be done there.
Right, I didn't care about that part of the story. I love I care about Black Widow as a character more than I have previously. Obviously, I said that was going to happen, that I didn't, based on the shows going into this, that she was probably going to become my all-time favorite superhero. A solid chance that'll happen with Hawkeye as well.
I definitely do have a new favorite superhero, but it's not Black Widow.
No, it's Yelena Belova.
Yelena Belova absolutely was my favorite superhero.
I mean, absolutely. And we knew it was going to happen, right? You take the MCU, you take the money, you take the writers, and you stick a fantastic young actress in there and let her go loose.
But Florence Pugh, this was my favorite. This is subverting expectations as well. As going into this, I was like, Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson are both serious, real deal, dramatic actors. We're talking about Marriage Story. We're talking about Little Women. We're talking about Midsummer. We've got heavy hitters here. And they both played comedy parts in this.
I was not prepared for how funny this movie was.
I was not
in any way.
I was cackling in the theater.
Every time Black Widow's shown up previously, she's just been a buzzkill. With the exception of the sandwich thing, she had a little bit of hope in Endgame before she died.
Yep.
But the whole, every time she's shown up previously, it's been very heavy, very, we're trying to make a spy movie, and this was not that at all. I texted you yesterday and I said, this shares more in common with the shows than with anything we've seen previously. And I stand by that. It's the same kind of shift we saw in the MCU after Guardians of the Galaxy came out, where they were like, oh, we can do fun. We're allowed to do fun. And then they sort of, again, forgot it for a little bit. I'm not saying that Endgame and Infinity War were bad, but they're big, heavy, epic, break your heart, make you cry type movies, right? This is not that. It never tried to be that, and it never had to be that.
Well, where they lost it is that, Endgame and Infinity War are allowed to be big and heavy and epic, right? That's, the sort of the Gilgamesh of the MCU. But then they Far From Home wasn't funny.
No, it tried so hard and missed so hard.
It just didn't land. So then you got Black Widow, who is a character that's they even at the beginning of this movie have like a James Bond style opening credits.
Yeah.
Like spy movie thing going on. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Spy movie. They even have her, Scarlett Johansson watching James Bond in the movie. Like they're really laying it on thick.
The opening is just heartbreaking.
Remind me of the opening.
The cold open with the kids and they, the dad, Alexi comes home.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and the mom gets shot and they fly to Cuba and he drops the daughters off with the Black Widow program.
And Nat has the grown out roots, which like links back to Endgame.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely heartbreaking. And then they, un-Black Widow Yelena and she's hilarious. And Nat has this weird, like, friend/fixer guy that she meets up with, and they're hilarious.
That dude was so good.
Yeah.
I don't know who that dude is. I know he's going to show up later on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He'll be he's the Q or whatever from James Bond, right? The gadget guy. He's the getter, the fixer.
I think, honestly, what I'm most upset about is I could use 2 sequels to this. I could use so much more Yelena content with Black Widow I liked it so much.
Yeah, like I said, right up until they get onto the air base, and even in some of it, I was with it, man. Really until he opened the Taskmaster helmet and it was his like daughter that we didn't care about,
like superimposed into it.
Right, that like they didn't give us enough of the daughter, like because when they pulled it off, I was like, who is that?
Should I?
And you should never pull the mask off and go, who is this? Not Scooby-Doo, right? Like,
well, no, but so there's another example where somebody pulls the mask off and it works really well, and you're like, I don't understand who that is. And it's in Force Awakens when Rey's like, take the mask off, and Kylo Ren just like, okay,
right, and it's just you're like, who is this guy?
That's just a guy. That's just a guy,
right? Like.
You're not scarred like Vader was.
Right.
You're just a guy.
Yeah. And Ray Winston is great at being a Bond villain, man, but he could not pick an accent. And it's just like the camera work was really creepy. And he's like in her face. And like, it didn't sell me on a she's uncomfortable about this thing, though. It just was weird shooting.
I did love the masks that like perfectly mimic other people's faces.
Yeah.
I thought that was like, what a great little spy feature you've got here.
Yeah.
Like a little spy movie thing. Mission Impossible 2 we got going on.
Yeah, I would watch several spin-offs about this spy family, right? Like,
yeah,
it doesn't have to be all Avengers all the time, man.
Right.
That's what I've liked so much about the shows, honestly, is that they haven't been Avengers-y, right? Like,
well, one of them was about Captain America.
Right, but even still, it wasn't like, it wasn't like Thor shows up to stop Sam and Bucky from fighting, right? Like,
right.
It wasn't Captain America versus the Winter Soldier.
Right.
The TV show the Falcon versus the Winter Soldier, where they fight over who gets to be Captain America.
That would have been an awful show.
Yeah. I mean, I just continue to be so surprised by the direction that Marvel is willing to go with this stuff and the boxes they're willing to step out of. I was not excited at all for this movie. I am a changed man. I believe in the movies again.
I even tweeted out to John Negroni, who is a fan of the show. I love John. John's a great Rotten Tomatoes critic. And I said, John, you know what I look for in a superhero film. What am I going to rate Black Widow on a binary? And he said 0.
I think, and this is the thing, right? Because this is not a barn burner of a movie. It's not it's not Avengers Endgame, right? And I think it's going to take
checks
us
the right box. This checks boxes Avengers Endgame wasn't trying to check. This is checking the same boxes as Ant-Man in a way that I'm very satisfied with.
It checks the same boxes as Ant-Man, right? But it doesn't check the same boxes as like Black Panther, nor do I think it's trying to, right? Like we've got a little bit of a comedy of errors going on with comparison in the MCU right now, where like everything feels like it has to be up to the level of Avengers Endgame, right? And I think that's why Far From Home fell so flat, is because it was just so close on the heels.
Yeah.
In that, like, if I watch it again, which I haven't done since it came out in theaters, right? Like, that was the first time I've seen a Marvel movie since I saw Far From Home in theaters, for sure. But this never had to be Avengers Endgame, right? So I think there's a perfectly, I'm not going to say there are wrong reasons to like this movie, because I don't think there are, but there are obviously right reasons to like this movie, and I think there are okay reasons to not like it, and there are wrong reasons to not like it.
Yeah, I think,
right, like, and that's true with any of these movies, but like especially with this one, like I can very much see somebody being like, yeah, it was fine, just didn't hit home for me, and it doesn't need to hit home from everybody, right? Like,
yeah, I do think I've seen some criticism being like the sort of more mellow moments between Nat and Yelena didn't land for them, and maybe you felt that way. I did not feel that way. All of the little moments that they had together to me landed perfectly.
That made the movie for me.
That could have lived. That's
there.
What it was about. Yeah. I could have lived there, yeah.
It's when they started doing the superhero thing where I got off of it, right? When we came to floating sky base that controls the Black Widows through pheromones, I was like, man, really? Like,
the pheromone thing really got me. And then when she was like, I've just got to sever my olfactor senses,
right,
so I can't smell. I was like, you got to what? You got to do what?
I'm sure I'm going to go back and watch the MCU movies, and there'll be some point in like Civil War. No, I guess this is after Civil War. There'll be some point in Infinity
War where she can't smell
something, right? Like,
yeah.
But no, it feels like they hired somebody different to write the last third of this movie. And just like they got Colin Trevorrow to come in and write the last act of the movie and didn't tell anybody that that's what was happening. Like,
yeah, that would have been bad.
And I truly think that a lot of this is just down to straight up to casting and completely messing up that performance. I don't want to blame the actor, but like this is truly a time where I felt let down by an actor's performance.
So it didn't bother me while I was watching it. Now I fear that when I do rewatch it, because this is one that will make it onto my rewatch list. Easy.
Definitely.
I'm also entering a phase in my life where from the ages of roughly 24 to 28, I was like, I don't have time to rewatch things. Life is short. And now I'm kind of getting into a phase of my life where I'm like, I just want to watch the things that I like. And I'll try new things whenever I want. But like, I'm not going to get mad at myself for sitting down and watching a movie I know I like. I know this because I'm reading books that I like right now. And it is, God, awesome.
I've always approached rereading books completely differently from rewatching movies.
Rereading books is, but like, so we did, like when it comes to rereading books, we're doing the reading challenge. We're only allowed to reread 25% of our total.
Sure, yeah.
For the year. Which is like a ton, right? Like if we read 100 books, that's 25. But I don't know that I've read 25 books since middle school.
Yeah.
So like the rereads isn't a challenge, but I'd very much been avoiding them until recently. And then I read Ready Player One, and now I'm listening to Ender's Game, which are like two of my all-time favorites. And it turns out they're my all-time favorites for a reason. They definitely resonate with me more than 50 out of the 60 other books I've read this year.
I read Ready Player One once a year, at least.
Yeah.
Since I've read it the first time. But like and when you overlay the whole time factor of that, it's like reading a book takes way longer than watching a movie, obviously.
Yeah.
But like
Ready Player One is like 15 hours to listen to, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I saw Avengers Endgame in theaters 3 times in theaters, and I have definitely read Ready Player One more than I've seen Avengers Endgame. And I will continue to see or read Ready Player One more than I see Avengers Endgame.
Yes. That doesn't. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, I'm going to start allowing myself to not feel guilty for sitting down and watching a movie I've already seen. But anyway, I'm curious because this does make it onto my rewatch list. I think it's tough to like say where does this land in your MCU ranking because then you have to like remind yourself what you think.
Oh,
of all
I'm
24
done
films.
having that conversation.
Let me just
Fully,
ask,
I'm done having that conversation.
Just based on the vibe of the film, and if you sat down and wrote it all out, it may not end up this way, but just on the vibe of the film, does this feel top 50 or bottom 50?
Bottom 50 MCU movies?
About 50%.
Oh. I was like, there's not 100 MCU movies.
Actually,
We're sincerely behind if there are.
This is our 25th MCU review.
Yeah, look at us, man. Bacon and Eggs is back the way God intended it. It's talking about a Marvel movie that we saw in theaters.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Well, since Far From Home.
That's a long time. That's 2 years.
Has it really been 2 years since Far From
Yeah,
Home?
that was July of 19.
Dang. This is how God intended it.
Yeah.
I did see it. This is my first movie back in the theater since Onward.
This is my second.
But I do. Hold on. Before we get into the theater experience, I want to know, just vibe alone, is this in the top 12 or bottom 12?
Yeah, this is top 12.
I would wholeheartedly agree.
The vibes are what matters at the end of the day.
Right.
Like this for me makes top 12 probably before Endgame or Infinity War.
Ooh, interesting.
There's just like
This is so good. This was so good.
it was so fun, right? Like, I'm sitting here complaining about it, right? And I'm like, oh, I give it an 80 out of 85. But like, it's a strong. I want to maintain that it's a strong score. Like, I did thoroughly enjoy this movie. I can complain about it because I truly did not like the villain at all, and that I think I like this movie the least I will ever like it right now. Because next time I watch it, I'm just not gonna care, right?
Yes. So that's
because I can turn it off or fast forward through it or whatever, right? Like I could watch the first 2 acts and then just turn it off and do something else,
or go get popcorn or whatever. But that is a good point. I've noticed. I think I may have mentioned this last week. I've watched Luca like 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
Once you sit into it and you like really kind of know the characters, it's way more enjoyable. Like when you don't have to introduce yourself to all these characters, you just get to like, oh, I really enjoy this part. It really does. You sit into it a lot better.
I could watch the first 20 minutes of Luca all day.
Yeah.
Like,
I think about Luca all the time.
Like, it's a freaking Pixar thing, man, right? Like.
Yeah, but they put out that red panda thing, and now I'm scared to death.
Now I'm scared, but the teaser looks good.
It does look good. It does. Like, I did get a little bit of Parasite vibes just because it was like, honestly, it was the way the school was built, where there was this like wall of windows and then a grassy field, and like people out in the grassy field. I was like, oh my god, it's the house from Parasite.
But like, I think about Pixar. I think about Soul and Onward every day, right? Like every day.
I think about Inside Out at least once an hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking about like who's in control right now.
Who's driving right now?
Who's driving right? Is that
right,
Joy?
like
Am I
stop
happy
letting
right now?
stop letting fear drive. Stop letting disgust drive. Right, like
Yeah, let Joy drive.
let joy drive for a while.
Yeah,
That's really, I mean, that's the key to life, right? Is to let joy drive.
I think the moral of the movie actually is to let them all drive, to allow yourself to feel a range of emotions.
Right, but like I would say the one that people have the most trouble with is letting joy drive.
Yes. Riley's a happy kid, though.
Riley's a happy kid. Well, yeah, kids are different. We're not kids. We're 28.
I know. Oh my god.
I have worries that I didn't have when I was Riley's age, right? Like I have bigger problems.
I have worries very similar to Riley's, though. If like the cool teenage girl is at the mall and she might be judging me, I feel just as
He's
scared
got
as
feminine
Riley.
hips.
Yeah. What? He has what? What?
Yeah, no, it's those freaking Pixar movies, man. I think about them every day, right? Like, I could be like, oh, Luca sucked. And I think about Luca all the time, right?
Yeah,
like,
and then your brain is like, Silenzio Bruno.
right, and it's just great advice. But yeah, no, like there's some to talk about top 50 or bottom 50%, to talk about top 12, bottom 12. There's a certain rewatchability factor involved in that, and like this is infinitely more rewatchable than Avengers Endgame to me.
To you. I think you might be alone in that one. People
That's
love
fine.
that ending.
I will continue to be alone in that. It's again, I don't want to say like I didn't like those movies, right? But like I cannot imagine a situation where I'm going to put them on out of context.
Do you know what the MCU did wrong?
What?
If we, Ethan and Tyler, were like, hey, we rented out this movie theater, the whole thing, for 4 days, and we are going to host a Bacon and Eggs Marvel movie marathon.
Okay.
And like you come as you are, you stay as long as you want. There's free popcorn. It costs $100. And we're going to watch all the Marvel movies in order. It doesn't matter that we agree, obviously, that release order is the only way to watch these movies.
Sure.
There will be a discussion at our event from attendees being like, why aren't we watching chronological order?
I will tell you,
Ethan, why did they do release order when Marvel
because release order is the only thing that matters. I want to piggyback to a different point that you just brought up.
Because it's about thematic.
Just stop. Because there's reveals. It's the movies are made to be watched in chronological order. When they made the MCU, at least at some point they started thinking about, we're not going to have a machete order for this thing, right? We're going to ruin everything in every movie.
Yes.
So you can't watch them in reverse order.
Also, the way that films are made between Civil War and now, you can't just watch Civil War, then Black Widow, and then go back to Phase 3 Marvel.
No, you can't. You can't. But if you tell me we're gonna sit down for 4 days and watch all the MCU movies, right? That is a quick way. I think that my list of favorite Marvel movies would go like, let's see. I'm trying to think. It would go Black Widow, number 1. And then Captain America, the First Avenger, and then Iron Man, and then everything else, and then Infinity War, Endgame, Far From Home. Because I think I watch Iron Man and I'm like, this is awesome. Right?
I'm back, baby.
And I watch The Incredible Hulk and I'm like, this movie sucks. And I watch Iron Man 2 and I'm like, this movie sucks. And I watch Thor and I'm like, this movie kind of sucks. And I watch the Captain America, the First Avenger, and I'm like, a good movie again. Yes, let's go.
We're back, baby.
And then the Avengers starts, and I'm like, oh my God, I have been here for 12 to 17 hours already. And at the end of 4 days, when Thanos does the snap in Infinity War, I'm like, yes, kill all of them.
Here's the problem: is Thanos does the snap at the end of Infinity War. There is still 7 hours of MCU.
So that's what I'm saying.
Watch.
By the time you make me watch Spider-Man Far From Home after all of that, it's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. The only reason Black Widow is my salvation, right? I've been waiting for it for days because that means it's over.
I think I could do it because 4 days does give you some ample break time. And I think as the organizers of the event, like, we would probably miss large swaths.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about me, just somebody that's going to like my local Regal, right? Sitting in a uncomfortable chair with nothing to eat but popcorn and nothing to drink but Pepsi.
This switch to Pepsi? Was it always Pepsi?
Since they went out of business, they switched to Pepsi.
I walked in there, I was like, I'll take a large soda. Pepsi's okay, I guess. What is that?
I think that they had Coke, but also Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper.
I know that, like, I'm a cherry Coke at the theater guy. It's like a pastime, is that you get cherry Coke at the movies. You can't, like, I bet cherry Pepsi's better, but you just, like, it's not the same.
Seeing Black Widow in the theaters, I smuggled in a sugar-free Red Bull.
Nice. I don't like the sugar-free ones. I like a full diesel Red Bull.
I do too, but I'm on a diet.
Ah. I'm also on a diet, but if I'm drinking an energy drink, I've already succumbed to the issue.
I figured I could choke it down.
Today is a cheat day.
I went for the sugar-free Red Bull and the regular candy.
I got a medium popcorn and a large Pepsi Diesel.
And you got a movie theater large.
Yeah, like a
which means it's huge.
Humongous. And I drank the whole thing. They do put a lot of ice in there, okay?
When I went to see it in the Heights, I was like, I'm going to get myself a Pepsi flavored icy.
No, you got to go for the soda, man.
Well, I decided I wanted an icy, and they handed me the largest drink I've ever held in my entire life. It was like unwieldy, right? Like this is looking at Big Gulp in the rear view.
When you're holding it, like, thank you.
And it's the thinnest plastic you've ever touched that's making this cup.
Your hand is in the icy.
Yeah. God. But no, man, we saw a Marvel movie in the theaters.
I was gonna go with you. We were recording our episode on Loki last week, and afterwards I was like, "Hey, let's go see Black Widow," and you were like, "No, I'm driving to a different city to see it with Kate."
I already had plans,
and I was like, "Okay," and then I went and saw it by myself, and I was like, "You know what? This is the superior movie watching experience."
Yeah, I had no choice, man. My hands were tied.
Yeah, your hands were tied. I'm gonna invite myself on your date next time. That's all.
That's probably would have been fine, but we had already bought the tickets.
Let me ask you this: do you have the Regal Rewards app?
Yeah, I'm a Regal Unlimited subscriber.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
you went whole hog.
Well, I had previously been on the hog, and then they just restarted the
$18
hog
a month for a year.
No, they didn't charge me, especially while they were out of business.
Right? It's like what?
No. Once movie theater shut down, they were like, "Oh, whoa, we're not." They charged me for I think March and April of last year, and then they were like, we're not going to do that." So then they gave me June for free of this year, and then charged me for July.
I don't know how many credits I have. Do you know how to check that in the Regal app?
Yeah, it like points.
Yeah.
It should just tell you as soon as you open it, my dude.
Are you telling me this is my actual point number?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 6 movies.
Yeah. You've probably never cashed it in.
I cash them in every time because every time I go, they're like, "Oh, you have enough things for free popcorn. You want free popcorn?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll take a free popcorn."
I've got 35,250.
I have 102,490.
I mean, I see that.
And what's your card look like? What do you have on there?
Regal Unlimited.
Oh, mine says Avengers Endgame.
Mine says Regal Unlimited.
I can change it to Florence Pugh.
I guess I can change it. Yeah, it says oops, no cards.
Oh, no, I have 21,490. Okay.
Oh.
The 102,000 is lifetime credits. That makes
Mine is the
more
same
sense.
number.
So you've never spent them.
Apparently not. I do have credits that expired the other day.
Pugh and Black Widow.
Nice.
They expired? They can't expire.
No, they didn't expire. They expire next year.
I was about to say, Regal can't do that. I did miss the theatre. It was nice to go back to sit in the awful chair.
Oh, I was in a great chair because we went to Christiansburg.
Yeah, you were in one of the reclining boys.
Oh, it was so good. I'd forgotten, man. It's been so long.
I know. So I'm going out of town next week, and I want to go back to the theater because I was like, I might go see Black Widow again.
Just go see F9 or something.
Oh yeah, that's out too.
Yeah. See A Quiet Place 2.
Oh, I want to see that too. That's on my screen right now. It says exclusively on Paramount Plus.
No, it's in the theaters.
Well, it says exclusively on Paramount Plus.
I'm sure that somewhere it says that about Black Widow as well. It's exclusively on Disney Plus.
What did you think of Rachel Weisz as Melina?
She was there.
Yeah. David Harbour was
so good. She was just there.
I love David Harbour as the Red Guardian because, like, David Harbour, how did he end up being like, I have to deal with Russia in everything I do.
It's just the opposite of character he plays in Stranger Things, though, right? Like, there's none of this, like, harassed father figure guy, right? Like, he's completely, I mean, he's laid back and absolutely not a father figure.
the worst father
The
ever.
worst father ever. But he's Red Guardian.
He's Red Guardian. You know, I fought Captain America. This
Which
was
he's just
probably
lying about.
93, 94.
Yeah, Captain America's, it was the 80s, I think he said. But,
Was it?
yeah. But Captain America's in ice still.
Yeah.
Just lying. Unless we're about to come up on something we don't know about with Captain America.
Well, we do know something about Captain America. I mean, he was... There could be something here, because Cap did go back.
That's
and
true,
live
but he
with
went back
Peggy.
to a different timeline.
No.
Yes.
In fact, the same timeline.
No, he
That's how
didn't.
He shows up at the end.
Yeah, he comes back.
I don't think that's how it works.
I'm pretty sure it does. That when he goes back to Peggy, like Peggy in this universe gets to live out her same life with her stupid husband.
Maybe her stupid husband was Cap all along.
Maybe her stupid husband was Alexei.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. Maybe her stupid husband was Lightning McQueen.
Was Mobius. And
We
then when
do get a Loki finale tomorrow.
Hold on. So here's the... It was Mobius, and the reason he works for the TVA is the TVA was like, we're just going to put Captain America in your spot. Right?
Wild. That's
then-
the Nexus event.
Right. And then like rather than like fixing this, we're just going to swap places.
Or like-
right.
Or like tomorrow on Loki, they're going to show us Red Guardian and Captain America fighting in the 80s, and then the TVA is going to show up.
So there had
and,
to be a
like, prune
reason
him.
that this had to come out before the finale of Loki, right?
I guess, yeah.
I mean, we'll find out, I guess, in 3 hours.
Well, at 3 a.m. our time.
I'm not staying up for that. That's
Right, but it's not 3 hours. It's
Right.
like 6.5. 5.5.
So the thing that they were trying to give us before we saw it on TV was they were trying to introduce the girl from Seinfeld,
Yeah, Valentina.
Valentina, before we saw her in Captain America or in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Right, that was the only thing that affected the shows.
I guess so, yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't know what the shows are going to look like, right? Like we've only seen
Well, up to this point.
up to this
I mean.
point, yeah. This was supposed to come out, yeah, like over a year ago.
Yeah. But also, like, showing Valentina in Falcon and Winter Soldier, like, she introduced herself in that. I almost would believe that they filmed this post-credit scene.
Yeah,
like,
I absolutely
way
think that
after the
that's
fact.
entirely possible.
Yeah, that they were like, we had a post-credit scene. We're changing it. We'll put the one we had into something else.
Well, it could have been exactly the same thing, but just with the addition of Valentina.
Yeah. I do think there was a great subverted expectation in the post-credit scene where Florence Pugh does the whistle, and you think, like,
I thought for sure that, yeah, Natasha was going to
that
whistle
that
back, or the Katniss Everdeen was going to show
was
up.
going to whistle back, yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, she knows an archer too. They're gonna
Yeah.
hunt down Clint Barton. It's gonna be.
I hope that
Let me tell
Yelena
you-
shows up in Hawkeye this show. That would be very cool.
I think that's exactly what's gonna happen. I think that's why. Oh, that's the other thing. This had to come out before Hawkeye, right?
Unless
We
it
needed to
didn't.
unless it didn't. Unless Yelena's not in it at all.
I don't know what Hawkeye's going to be about. Hawkeye could take place like during the Ronin period.
Yeah, I don't think it. The logo. I'm trying to think. Like the logos have been so telling for each show, especially Loki. The Hawkeye logo. All I know is that there was a comic run with a similar logo, which feels like probably a pretty big Easter egg as to what it's about. But I'm not gonna read the comics because that's like
If Yelena shows up in the same episode as Kate Barton or whatever, Kate Hudson,
Haley Steinfeld.
yeah, are you just going to like cry and die at the same
cry-
time?
I will cry. And also, while we're on the topic, if we're throwing in archers who have Academy Award victories, unlike Haley Steinfeld and Florence Pugh, if Jennifer Lawrence shows up as Katniss Everdeen, that's it.
Is Jennifer Lawrence not in the MCU in any way?
She's
She's Magneto. Or yeah, Magneto.
She's
It was
Magneto.
Mystique.
She's Mystique in a universe that I don't think exists.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was Mystique. And I think that might have been enough for her to be like, I'm never doing superheroes again. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
The blue paint
wasted a lot of great people in those movies. Fassbender out. McAvoy.
Fassbender would totally come back. What did he have to do? Put on a helmet? He didn't have to sit in a makeup chair for 6 hours.
Right,
a
but
day.
like what I'm saying is you can't bring those people in as different characters, as like good characters.
Sure, well, you could bring him back. If you could bring Fassbender back as Magneto, I'd be all about it.
Yeah.
I'd be better than McAvoy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big McAvoy fan, but like
You're not a McAvoy fan at all. You hate James McAvoy.
I don't like James McAvoy. I saw him in something recently that he was charming.
You liked him in Chronicles of Narnia.
Did I? As Mr. Tumnus?
As Mr. Tumnus. What if he was Mr. Tumnus, but also he was Aslan and not Liam Neeson?
Well, he's not. Liam Neeson is Aslan.
I know. Drakov, Black Widow program, the Red Room. We have agents all over the world. I save women. I give them purpose. I give them life.
I mean, if the accent was that good, he would have been nailed it. It was the thing. But it's just literally like you couldn't keep Ray Winston from doing the like, oh, listen here, bruv.
I liked O.T. Fagbenley. Is that how you say his name?
I don't know who that is.
He was the supplier.
The supplier?
The guy. He was Mason. He was the black guy.
Oh, that guy's a
Had
name?
stuff.
Mason?
Mason was his name.
Mason. Yeah, he was great. I never caught a name, but yeah, everything he gives her is kind of half-cocked until he steals a Quinjet.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I thought that was supposed to be like I got you the Quinjet. I was like, oh, maybe this relates to something. I have no idea what. Maybe I'm supposed to get this reference that Nat has a Quinjet.
Well, she said she's going to go break people out of jail. Like,
I know that she's bringing people out of the raft. Is that where they're at?
yeah, no.
Is that what it's called?
Isn't the raft where they keep Carnage?
I don't know. People keep saying Carnage is in Shang-Chi. Did you see the preview?
I saw half of it.
Did you see Abomination?
Not particularly. I saw half of it. I wasn't really paying attention. I just was like walking in while it was happening.
Well, at the very end of the Shang-Chi trailer, Abomination shows up. This is like a big deal.
I don't know what Abomination is. I don't remember.
He's the bad guy from The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, it's not ringing any bells.
You don't remember The Incredible Hulk? At the end, he
Not
chokes
really.
out Abomination with a giant chain.
Tyler, I've seen a lot of MCU movies since we watched The Incredible Hulk in 2017.
He was like the other Hulk. I don't know how else to describe.
I just look. It's
Abomination
not.
to you.
I get what you're saying, but it's not like nothing comes to mind. I think about Thunderbolt Ross with the tank.
This is what it comes back to. Is that
Why
like,
was
people
he
are
in this
like-
movie?
Because he's in all of them, Ethan. He is the secret seed that they keep putting in all of these movies. He is going to be such a big villain before you know it. He is going to be the next Loki level villain. I guarantee it. Because he is in everything. And it's in such a way that like if you're not looking for it, you don't notice it.
Well, yeah, we've heard about a rumored Betty Ross comeback.
No way.
Yeah, they've been tossing that around for a while now.
Liv Tyler's just
Yeah,
going to
Liv Tyler's going to show up.
I think Liv Tyler would be great. I do think.
Yeah, same. I have no idea where they're going to go with Hulk.
Little taller than Mark Ruffalo. I'll tell you that much.
Maybe she'll be in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Maybe. That would be sweet. I don't know. Is Mark Ruffalo back? Is he like...
they're doing a She-Hulk TV show. I forgot about this.
They are, yeah.
Who plays She-Hulk? Who is She-Hulk? Like in universe, like what character is that?
Jennifer Walters. She-Hulk. It's not She-Hulk. It's Hulkling. This is some fun trivia. Hulkling dates Wiccan, and Wiccan is they're an openly gay couple in the Marvel comic universe. Wiccan is Scarlet Witch's son, who is in WandaVision.
But isn't real.
But might not be real. Yeah.
Is definitely not real.
Yeah. Jennifer Walters, but who is playing her?
I don't know.
Tatiana Maslany.
Ah! Katniss Everdeen herself.
What?
She is the narrator of the new Hunger Games audiobooks.
No way.
Yeah. She says warm instead of warm.
Warm.
And Katniss Everdeen uses the word warm a lot.
Prim wanted warm water.
Warm bread.
Warm.
Warm bread.
He threw the warm bread out.
It doesn't sound like it would throw you off that bad until you realize how often Katniss Everdeen says that word.
Do you, I think this Tatiana Maslany girl is going to do great in She-Hulk. I take back what I
Probably.
said
She was
there.
great in Orphan Black.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be a very cool show.
But yeah, we have not talked enough about Yelena Belova. The pockets. She's the only person in the world that's been able to sell me cargo anything.
Cargo vest. That's because if Florence Pugh came up to you and was like, Ethan, I bought you these cargo shorts. I think you'll look great in them. And then you put them on and Florence Pugh was like, you look great in cargo shorts. You'd be like, you're darn right I do. I'm never taking these bad boys off, ever.
I think if any famous actors came up to me and told me I looked great in cargo shorts, I would probably invest in some.
I would agree. I would be like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Really,
You know more than I do.
Basically any famous person.
Really, any person who's paid to be attractive, right?
Right,
I would be like, you know more about this than I do.
Yeah. Now, if Zach Braff came up to me and was like, hey, you look great in cargo shorts, I'd be like,
Ego!
I'd be like, Zach Braff, I understand that you're dating Florence Pugh, but like, I don't believe you.
I think you might be wrong, bro.
I think you might be wrong. Now, Donald Faison, I would believe.
He would tell you, though. I bet Donald Faison would be like, yeah, man, you should wear cargo shorts because then you can put your drugs in the pocket. They're not drugs anymore, though. They're legal substances here in the state of Virginia.
What?
Donald Faison smokes a lot of weed.
Does he?
That's like a thing.
I do not know this fact about Donald Faison. I know
I
very
listened
few
to-
facts about Donald Faison.
I listened to all of one episode of Fake Doctors, their podcast.
Yeah.
And it was like their 100th episode or something, and they were just like recapping the theme of their show, and it was like, oh yeah, by the way, Donald Faison was high during all of Scrubs. All of Scrubs. He's high right now also. He's been high every time we record this podcast. Which to me is like, that's not real. They're obviously lying about that, but I'm sure it is real. I just have no experience with drugs.
Fair. Yeah, I did not know that about Donald Faison. I've listened to zero of that podcast.
It's all right. It honestly, for somebody who hosted or was on a TV show called Alex Inc., I would have expected Zach Braff to have a better home podcasting setup.
Well, I mean, that show was pretty horrible to podcasters. It like destroyed his marriage.
Yeah, it was also pretty horrible to like to what we do as a whole.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, podcasting is stupid. You couldn't even make a TV show about it.
Zach Braff has really tried a lot of things since he left Scrubs.
I think it's tough, man. You do Scrubs.
Next week on Bacon and Eggs, we're talking Garden State with comedian Mary Clay Watt.
Are we?
No. I think she's moving next week and would probably kill us.
We have to record a podcast. We will be on That's What I'm Talking About. I have no idea when, but we're recording it this Thursday.
And then we're recording again some other time.
Some other time. So there will be 2 episodes where...
And then we're going to have her on to talk about the Hobbit movies eventually.
At some
some point this month or next month.
We're going to watch all 3 Hobbit movies. I've seen maybe the first 2.
I've confidently seen the first 2.
I know that when I saw them, I was like, man, this is a great, fun theater experience.
I know that the first hour of the first one slaps. And after that, I'm like, why did they make 3 of these? Why are they all 3 hours long? Why is there so much CGI? Why is Orlando Bloom here?
You ever read The Hobbit, the book?
No.
It is.
I mean, probably a long time ago.
Short. It is very short.
I walked into a Barnes & Noble like 4 or 5 months ago to buy a copy of The Hobbit and read it in print, and it just like they didn't have it.
Ah.
Or the one they did have was ugly or something.
Dude, that's the biggest problem with The Hobbit is like, yeah, obviously Martin Freeman was the perfect choice for Bilbo, but how on earth could I read a book with his face on the cover?
I have like a Bible version of the three of them, the trilogy. It's very cool.
I have like pocket Bible versions of each of them.
No, it's like a regular like Bible-sized Bible type.
Ah.
With like thin pages and like a soft moleskin type cover.
I've thin pages, like the really thin Bible type pages.
Yeah.
But it's on a paperback set of the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson.
Nice. This copy of the Lord of the Rings trilogy sits on my bookshelf along with V.E. Schwab's The Mysterious Life of Addie LaRue and the Annotated American Gods.
My only V.E. Schwab book sits alone on this bookshelf.
The Kindle recommends me that book every single day. Fun
Dark
fact.
Shade of Magic by
Yeah.
V.E. Schwab.
Yeah.
It is. So I recently logged out of my normal Audible account, which is connected to my active Amazon account.
Yeah.
And I logged into the Super Carlin Gaming account, which I used for like 4 years. And it's got a lot of books in it. It was why I listened to Ready Player One and Ender's Game, because they're both in there. And among those books is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. And so I'm thinking about giving it another go because it's only like 11 hours. It's so far away. You would think this was so much closer.
Yeah, I think it was right behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, look at, oh my goodness.
What? Do I have a book I do have a book I can reach. It is Tweet Cute by Emma Lord.
Oh, you got Sweet Cute? Guess what I got? Chaser.
I was buying the third of the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson, and this was sitting next to it, and they were both buy one, get one 50% off. So I just grabbed both of them.
This is Chaser by Charity Farrell. We've talked about this book on the podcast before.
I don't want to alarm you. This what I'm guessing is a young adult romance about people in New York that meet from tweeting is 378 pages long.
Yeah, but everybody I know that's read it is like, this book is adorable.
This book slaps. I follow Emma Lord on Instagram, and she looks like she has a lot of fun living life.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I've never read anything by her, so I'm going to read this book at some point.
You know what else I've got within arm's reach? I've got this copy of Alice in Wonderland. It's a very cool sort of antique copy from the 50s. We've talked about that on the podcast. There's not a lot going on around here. Let's see what's through this door. Oh, this is a good one. A bunch of children's books, like block books, but then this one, highly recommend to all the parents listening. This is Busy Toddler's Guide to Actual Parenting. This is a good one. It talks a lot about the tabby stage, which is when they can like walk but not talk, which is where Olivia's been for the past like year. Very, very informative book, and it's got over 60, I think, activities in it, all from Susie Allison, the Busy Toddler Instagram account.
I've got a folklore cassette tape.
Oh, I got you that for your birthday.
You did give me that for my birthday.
I listen to my folklore cassette tape because I bought 2 of them. I listen to it all the time.
I listen to it not infrequently, but also not frequently.
It's the only tape I have in my little tape player downstairs.
I could have a lot of tapes. I don't know where they are, though.
My father, John, had a lot of tapes. And they're just gone now.
Oh, there's a 0% chance that my mother got rid of all her tapes. But I have not seen them in 15 years. So I don't know where they are in the house, but I could find hundreds of tapes. I know where a working tape deck is, like a proper one that connects to a stereo system.
No, I want the crappy ones.
But I don't know where my tapes are, any of them.
I have a lot of possessions here by the desk. One of my most prized is this deck of Harry Potter playing cards.
Okay.
I really like the Jokers. This one says, I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good. And this one says, mischief managed. It's great Jokers. And there's the backs.
Oh, they
You
look
can't
like
play with these at all.
the page clips you got me.
Yeah. Do you use those? Are you a page clip guy
I
now?
do. I do use them. I've got 3 in use right now, I think. Well, technically 2 are sitting on the table because I finished the books they were attached to. But
Anybody who knows me well knows that I absolutely hate the Hogwarts houses. But I do think this is a cool way to do the suits.
yeah, definitely. I mean, if you got 4 of something, it's an obvious go for playing cards, right? Like,
Yeah. So I found this deck at a TJ Maxx, and I bought it.
Booklist Magazine says, a precursor to the way teen love stories will be told for years to come. About Tweet Cute by Emma Lord.
Teen love stories. You know what I've noticed the more I read is that I'm not a teenager.
I would rather read a teenage love story than an adult love story.
I don't want to know about the adult love stories. That's nasty.
Like,
Yo,
I've read a lot of YA recently, and because there's always something to be said for YA. I do think that just like the way they write those books, and the way they have written those books for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years-ish, will produce a lot of what we consider to be timeless classics down the line.
Yeah.
I very much like the writing style of a lot of these YA authors more necessarily than the subject matter.
We read Prelude for Lost Souls.
Yeah.
The writing style there was fantastic.
Right. I think that like YA authors are given such breadth and such leeway with a compelling first person narrative that like a lot of other authors necessarily aren't in the just like fiction landscape. Like not like fantasy or like maybe mystery to some extent, but like the stuff you would just find in the fiction section, like the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of your Barnes and Noble, right? The like, I hesitate to say adult fiction because it's obviously not explicit adult fiction, although you can find some of that stuff in there. Not the romance section though, like just the like the fiction for grown-ups, for
fiction without the word quivering.
Written about people over the age of 30.
Yes.
Usually. Because now we've got new adult and whatever, and there's like this burgeoning half genre.
Where like millennials are like, I don't want to read about James Patterson.
I don't want to read about Alex Cross. I also don't want to read about a 12-year-old.
Right. So I got to find something.
Yeah, I think a lot of these
novel coming out, Lockdown on London Lane by Beth Regals. Pre-order now, link in bio.
Yeah, I've read a bunch of YA recently, and I do really enjoy the way a lot of them are written and find compelling characters and deeply relatable characters. Not from the sense of like, I remember what it's like to be 16, but like, I don't know. I think the way that YA characters care about things is a deeply universal way of caring.
It's so interesting because I don't care about anything, you know?
Yeah, you do.
That's true. I care about a few things. I care about this deck of Harry Potter cards. I care about my children.
It's weird priority order you're going with there.
I do care about my children. I care about them a lot. Can I just play you? Listen, listener, you have to deal with it. Ethan, you have to deal with it.
Okay.
Can I play you a little sound clip?
Sure.
You're gonna love this. Let me turn the volume up real quick.
Yo.
She go, hello, Nana.
That's so cute. Is that Olivia?
Yeah, you know that's Finn. Yeah, it's Olivia.
I guess I forgot that it was your kids, and I thought it might have been one of the...
No, I wouldn't share a sound clip from somebody else's kids as much as I love my nieces. This.
She's so cute. What a little stinker.
She is a little stinker. I could just look at pictures of my children or just my children themselves.
I was gonna say you got the real thing right there.
They're here.
You don't have to look at the prints. Like you can go see the original in the museum that is your house.
So something they say like, don't ever wake your children because like then they'll wake up and cry and stuff. And that's true, man. You run a major risk if you go in there while they're asleep.
Sure.
And pull them out, but she's just so snuggly when she's asleep. Sometimes you go wake her up and pick her up, but then she'll just snuggle on you.
Well, I don't think most people are like never wake your children.
Well, and I try not to wake her.
Don't pay attention to them. They might cry if you do. They're like, oh man, once you get them sleeping though, like, oh boy.
Let them sleep.
Just let them sleep.
She sleeps so much. I will say this about parenting is that like people are like, oh my God, it's a 24/7 job. Are you kidding me? Olivia sleeps like 15 hours a day.
And yet
It's
somehow you find a way to have it be a problem. You find a way to still be tired all the time and still be like, man, these kids are exhausting.
Okay, Olivia sleeps 15 hours a day. Finn doesn't sleep.
Right, but you made that choice.
He will sleep.
You were like,
He'll
you know
get
what?
there.
You know what? Just around the time that the kid that sleeps 15 hours a day is going to sleep 15 hours a day, let's get a new one. Really just mix it up.
I mean, I have no regrets in this slightest.
No, I'm not saying you do or should. It is funny to watch you grow as a parent because, like, going into it, you were like, I'm not going to talk about my kids the way other parents talk about their kids. And because I think you approached so much of it with this like implied negativity. And now you say things that like parents say, but like in a different way that I think you thought parents said it before.
I don't know, man. I
get what you're saying with some of it, and I don't think you're ever going to be the kid or the parent that talks about their kids negatively, right? Like you're not going to be the like, oh man, God, can't wait to get away from my kids for a weekend. You know, God, I hate my children.
I hate leaving my children.
Right.
It is my least favorite thing.
But like, I do think that you've learned like maybe there is some truth to some of these old adages, right? Where like maybe you should just let them sleep sometimes.
Yeah. And I still think, I still get super uncomfortable. And like, I do learn there have been a lot of moments where I've been like, I'll never be that parent. And then I end up like finding myself just like following a workflow and ending up being like, ah, man,
I'm that parent.
I'm that parent right now. I think there's some things like, oh, I'll never let my kids scream at the Pizza Hut. I guess we don't go to Pizza Hut anymore, but at the pizza place. Like they just will, right? You're just not going to avoid this. Kids scream. They just get excited and they make noise, especially my daughter. She just makes a lot of noise. But like what I don't want to be is the parent that like, I've definitely been the frustrated parent, but I don't want to be like the scolding. It's more important for me to save face than it is for me to like not scream at you. I don't know. There's this weird thing parents do where your kids like gets loud in a restaurant and they're like, stop, be quiet. And I don't want to be that parent. Like if it's going to come to like, we need to hash this out, then let's go outside or something and chat about it.
Well, yeah. The problem is when you hash it out at the table.
I would rather, this is true. I would rather a parent not raise their voice, but I'd rather a parent like do whatever it is they normally do to get their kid to stop crying than this, like, I don't want other people to see me parenting, so I'm going to yell or like whisper yell instead. I guess other parents maybe just yell at their kids when they're crying, and that's why they have a hard time with it at a restaurant, because that's like how they would normally handle it. But for me, it's like, I would rather just like, if you're yelling because you want your pacifier and you're 2 and you're not supposed to have it anymore, I'm just going to give it to you because we're at the restaurant and this is going to make you stop crying.
Yeah. I'll tell you this much. You're starting to see a lot of kids who have grown up mostly in the pandemic and never seen another person before.
Never seen other kids before.
Going to restaurants.
Yes. I think you get a little overwhelmed.
Yeah. It's you know, kids aren't dogs, but you do have to socialize them.
Yes. It's a big thing. We're very fortunate to be able to continue to go to daycare because it's a very small daycare through the pandemic. But flip side of that, it's a very small daycare. So she's socializing, but with 2 or 3 other people.
Sure, but that's better than only knowing your parents.
Right.
And then being like, you know what, kids? Today we're going to go to...
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
There's going to be screens everywhere, and there's going to be people in weird outfits.
Yeah.
And adults.
We're going to take you to Big Lick Brewing Company when it's 97 degrees outside.
Yeah. It's going to be great. But you got to socialize them sometime. So no better time than then.
No, there are better times.
Well, I think it probably bothers you more than it would bother me.
Well, you know, I'm a paying customer.
The baby could be a paying customer. Olivia's got more cash than I do right now. The girl's loaded.
That's not true.
Like cash dollars?
Why does she have cash?
Well, she just has a piggy bank.
Okay.
And we just put coins and cash in it. I don't want to carry around cash, so if I got cash, I just put it in their piggy
You
bank.
made it sound like she's got like a wallet and like a side hustle. Like, nah, she's bringing in bills, man. Like,
She hustles pool.
yeah, she's a real card shark, that Olivia. You see the way she could put him in that box?
Oh man. No, she's in the Minecraft World Championship.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The World Championship of Minecraft. Yelena is the best character in the MCU.
In the whole MCU.
Maybe not the most developed. Like, we got Tony Stark for like 10 movies. We've had Scarlett Johansson for like 10 movies. And I would say I like Yelena's character better than
Well, I mean, they did
Natasha
more
Romanoff
development work in this movie for Black Widow than they have previously
than they
combined.
ever have, except
Yeah.
for like the other spy movie with Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, maybe like Iron Man 2.
She's just like introduced in Iron Man 2.
She's there for it.
As Natalie Rushman.
Yeah.
That was a SCB question the other day. Was what was Natasha Romanoff's alias in Iron Man 2? Yeah, but I'm the quiz master, so I knew all along.
The one time I've been the quiz host on Jay versus Ben. It was like an ultimate quiz, all quiz master question Harry Potter quiz, right?
Ooh,
And like
fun.
most of them were not all that hard, but the first question was like, what is the alternate universe name of Ron and Padma Patel's child?
What?
Exactly.
Is that a cursed child question?
I have no idea. Possibly?
Oh, I don't know.
I get.
Oh my gosh.
Neither did they. But it was like I did not look over the questions ahead of time, and I was sitting there on my phone like, are they all gonna be like this? Can't be. Can't possibly be.
The name is Panju Weasley,
Yeah.
and it is canon. No way.
Yeah. That was what Jordan picked to be question number 1.
So he was unborn when the timeline was changed yet again. Listen, people be ragging on this cursed child thing. It sounds rad. Maybe we should read
No,
this.
it doesn't. Also, it's like 7 hours long, and it takes 2 days to see it on Broadway.
Does it really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, you can go like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, Saturday, or like a double feature on Sunday.
I'm just gonna read it. I have the screenplay. I saw.
Well, it's not a
book talk
screenplay.
recently.
It's
It's not a screenplay. It's
play.
a script. It's a play. Stage
a play. Yeah.
appears in the alternate reality. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty proud of myself for knowing that this happened. Panju Weasley.
Yeah, Panju Weasley. Your brothers did not know the name.
I did not either. Oh, that's wild.
Kate Bishop. That's her name.
Kate Bishop is Haley Steinfeld in the MCU.
Yeah, I know. I asked what the name was earlier, and you didn't tell me. You just said who, Haley Steinfeld?
That's all I can. I mean, that's what I'm going to be.
I said
calling
Kate
when we're
Hudson. That's
we're
not it.
reviewing the show. Yeah, Kate Hudson. I'll be like, yeah, and then Clinton and Haley are on their way to Wakanda.
Kate Bishop.
You think Clint goes to Wakanda? I don't think so. Maybe that's the story. Is he's trying to get goblin arrows, but instead of goblin arrows, they're vibranium arrows.
I have no idea what I think the story of Hawkeye is going to be. Not any way to guess. I'm guessing it's going to involve Yelena Belova in some way, unless it doesn't, and the future Valentina Cosmatis, or whatever her name is,
Oh,
movie or TV show is about that. I have no idea.
I want to know, is Yelena going to not hook up, but like and maybe hook up. Yelena and John Walker. What's happening there? What are our predictions? Is that going to be a romance?
I doubt that she wants anything to do with U.S. Agent. Like,
Yelena.
Yelena is way too cool to hang out with John Walker. Like,
I don't know, man. She's going to be like, I guess John Walker is married.
He also sucks. She's going to be like, yo, you suck.
Oh, you suck, yeah.
I can tell from first second meet, you suck.
You super soldier. I know super soldier. You suck.
My dad is super soldier. It is not impressive.
Where is your vest?
And then Alexi will just show up and be like, Captain America.
And then John Walker's going to be like,
we meet
that's
again.
Right. I am Captain America. John Walker. What a freaking name. Isn't that the name of a bourbon?
That's Johnny Walker, and it's Scotch.
Okay. What? All the better is that John Walker is this like American beverage, but it's not even American. It's Scotch.
It's Johnny Walker.
Right. I understand. Jack Walker.
No.
So it's $100 to come to watch the MCU with Bacon and Eggs. It is $250 to come to watch the MCU and all the shows with Bacon and Eggs.
Oh, God.
Where would we even do this?
A movie theater, I'd imagine.
I don't know that you would. I think what you do is...
You have to have a pretty freaking nice movie theater.
I don't think you do a movie theater at all. I think what you do is you rent out like a ballroom, not like a ballroom, but like a conference room at a hotel. And then you just tell people like, there'll be like hotel chairs, and we'll have some like plushy stuff. Bring like a sleeping bag and a pillow and we'll put it up on the screen and we'll just be there all week. But if you need to go to like sleep in your room or whatever, like.
No, you just camp in the ballroom.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, we want you to camp in the ballroom, but if you do need to go sleep in your room away from others, or if you need to have some, John Walker, Yelena, what is it, Beauregard?
Belova.
Belova time?
Yelena Beauregard.
Yelena Beauregard. Yeah. Then that's what you do. Don't do it here, you nasty. Ethan and I'll be in here the whole time. We got a popcorn machine. We got hot dogs in an air fryer. We got it's very loud. I don't know if you ever used an air fryer. They beep like crazy. They beep extremely loud.
And it'd be constantly since we're cooking hot dogs and for hundreds of people.
You could cook 6 at a time, and it takes 4 minutes.
Table 46, come get your hot dogs.
Tables? I didn't consider tables.
Group boarding class 46, come
boarding class. I'm looking for phase 1. Come get your hot dogs. I'm not against this idea, Ethan.
Yeah, the food is where you're going to lose it though, because that requires all kinds of like FDA regulations.
Yeah, no, I think I would be like, you have to DoorDash your food. You can get it in the hotel lobby.
Yeah, the hotel is a restaurant.
Yeah, the $100 covers you hanging out with me for the next 4 days. How many? It would be like 48 hours of movie, right? Roughly.
I have no idea.
More than that, because they're all at least 2 hours.
Hey Siri, how many hours? You're not listening. Yeah, you are. Never mind. Hey Siri, how many hours is the whole MCU? How long would it take to watch all the Marvel movies?
This is pre-Black Widow.
Yeah.
This came out March 25th, 2021. There are a few of them that are under 2 hours long, but a bunch of them that are way over.
This doesn't give me... This is a breakdown. That's not helpful.
No, I need the total. Is it the bottom?
50 hours plus
50 hours approximately.
So 52 and some change hours.
So if you did, what was your 52 divided by 4? That'd be 13 hours a day for 4 days.
Well, and I don't think you can break it up like that either, because like you can't stop in the middle of a movie to be like.
Okay, so if we did 24 divided by, you'd be watching 6 of them a day.
That's so many movies.
You would get through Thor on day one. That is in chronological.
Yeah, you get through
That is Captain
Avengers.
Marvel
You get through a phase a day for the first 2 phases.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know, man. This sounds like the move.
I don't think it does. I think Camp Bacon and Eggs is a way better idea.
I would do this at Camp Bacon and Eggs.
No, but
truthfully.
you're missing the part where Camp Bacon and Eggs is a podcast convention.
Correct. Well, yes. Camp Bacon and Eggs is a podcast convention, but also we're playing the whole of the MCU in Cabin B the whole time.
I think you have to license these movies to show them to people is part of the problem.
I think we just don't tell Disney.
I think they'd find out.
Do you think they would?
I think they would find out if we sold tickets. Yeah, I think they would find out.
We're not selling tickets to watch the MCU. We're selling tickets to come to Camp Bacon and Eggs and get a Camp Bacon and Eggs t-shirt.
It's like you're trying to buy weed in DC. You bought this t-shirt, but it comes with a bunch of weed.
How much does it cost to rent a movie theater room? That's a big one.
No, this is not a logistics hour. This is a podcast. We're making a podcast here.
At a conservative $75 an hour, it would cost us $4,000.
Okay. Well, this is not logistics hour. This is podcast making hour. Okay. We got about 30 minutes left to maybe a little bit less to talk about Black Widow.
All I'm saying is if we sold 39 tickets at $100 a pop, we would at least cover the cost of the space. Are you happy now?
No, this is a cockamamie idea.
I hope you're happy now.
Horse hockey.
I agree. I think instead of watching the MCU, we should just watch Battle City.
I think we should just not watch something in front of people. We should do a podcast convention.
Cover to cover. Battle City. You end with the Merrick duel. You know.
Just watch Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series.
It's so good.
It's better anyway.
The regular show's abridged. Like, none of it's the regular dub.
When Bandit Keith is like, in America.
In America. And it's in GX, but there's a guy that's like, oh, all of my monsters are hot sauce related. They're like, it's very clearly alcohol. Use Dizzy Punch. He's dizzy from all that hot sauce he's been
Dizzy
drinking.
Punch is a Pokemon move.
I know it is.
And not a very good one.
It's a fighting type attack that confuses the enemy. It's a great move. Confusion is elite.
I'm sure it is. That's why I'm only talking about Pokemon.
I don't think I would put I don't think I would Dizzy Punch on my team. I don't think so.
Mr. Know-It-All Pokemon guy over here.
You got a Krabby on your freaking desk right now.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
This is my pen crab. He holds pens.
He holds pens?
Yeah, he holds pens.
Oh my God. I want to talk to you about Crab. So
Crab
last week
pen.
I was at the beach, if you recall. That was last week, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. You took the crab away.
Okay.
Have you ever been to one of those like all you can eat seafood buffets?
Yeah. I've been at the Giant Crab in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. So let me tell you, if you've never been, folks, there are these places where they offer all you can eat seafood. And they try to get you because they put carb heavy items on the buffet. And you're an idiot, but is like, you know what? I'll get some mac and cheese because I love mac and cheese. I don't want to eat just shrimp and crab legs. Wrong. You want to eat just shrimp and crab legs. If you load yourself down with macaroni and cheese, let me tell you something right now. It's like $40 a head to eat at this seafood buffet, and there are people in your party who don't even like seafood. Let them get the mac and cheese. I don't know if you know this. If you go to Food Lion, you can get 5 boxes of Food Lion brand mac and cheese for less than $2.
You know what you
Okay.
can't get for $2? Crab legs.
Crab legs. They've just got unlimited crab legs.
Red Lobster did unlimited crab legs a couple years ago and almost went out of business.
I believe it.
Like when Applebee's tried to offer free drinks to military service members on Veterans Day, it almost went out of business in one day.
Yeah, we should have put them out of business. The key, I understand it. You're here at the seafood place. You want hush puppies. Again, wrong.
I don't know, man. Hush puppies are elite.
They are so good. But that's your dessert. You got to be thinking about the carbs as dessert.
I
And
don't
you
go
gotta
to
be
these
thinking
places, is the thing.
You got to be thinking about you go once of every few years because it's $40 a head and you're always at the beach with a ton of people.
I
so
haven't been to one of these since 2014.
Okay. I was at one last week. Twice. I went to the same one 2 times. It's called Captain George's in Kill Devil Hills. If you're ever there, make sure you snap a picture and send it to me with your crab legs. But the key is the crab legs and the peel and eat shrimp. Okay. That's where everything. If you like crawdads, then you're disgusting. Or what's the shrimp that are like that look like they're alive still? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's gross. Peel and eat shrimp. I ate so much crab and peel and eat shrimp. I was on hot sauce by the time I left. Okay. I was drunk with power, with crab related power.
I remember when I went to the beach with your family that one year, your mom would make like several pounds of peel and eat shrimp every day.
Yeah. And
in addition to dinner, we would have like swordfish and a pound each of peel and eat shrimp.
Exactly. And sometimes people do cocktail sauce wrong. Okay. The key is the butter sauce. That keeps
cocktail sauce is delicious.
Cocktail sauce is delicious, but butter sauce keeps your body lubricated so you can continue to eat more crab legs. They just give them to you. Ethan, you can make crab cakes. If you want a hush puppy, here you go. You can make crab cakes out of king crab legs. You can just...
What, like fashioning crab legs together at the table?
At the table.
How are you going to fry them?
You don't have to. They're already cooked. And then you take some hush puppy and you mix it in there, and now you got a crab cake. And you can use your hands because you gross
That just sounds like a crab and hush puppy lump.
That's all a crab cake is. What do you think a crab cake is?
A crab cake is like cooked.
So is everything here.
But it's like cooked in like a shape.
You can put it in a shape. All I'm saying is, if by the time you leave this place you haven't defeated them, and I understand it's impossible to defeat them.
Defeated them.
It's impossible. Like they stay open because there's no possible way that you could eat $40 worth of whatever they're shilling.
Yeah.
But the goal, because their crabs they're not real crabs, right? They can't possibly.
This is the opposite though of the seafood buffet because I have beaten the CC's before.
Oh, I've beaten CC's
like
so bad.
I have eaten $11 worth of pizza.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've beaten CC's. I've beaten Red Palace. I will down
I can't
rangoons.
beat Red Palace, dude.
I will down crab rangoons until I am crab in the face.
They've got more types of chicken than I can eat.
Dude, this is the grand deception of the buffet. This is how they get you, is they give you options. It's not about options. When you go to a restaurant, do you order like 4 burgers? No, you order 1 burger. Go to the buffet, get your crab cakes. I'm sorry, your crab cakes. Don't get crab cakes because that's carbs. Get your crab legs, get your peel and eat shrimp, get your butter sauce, your cocktail sauce. You mix it up a little bit, but you don't need that much variety.
One time, Caitlin and I went to Fork in the Alley, right?
Did you order 4 burgers?
No. But they sell hot dogs, like gourmet hot dogs at Fork in the Alley, right? Where they're like grilled up and you can get like several different kinds of hot dog, one of which is like 50% pulled pork, 50% hot dog.
Uh-huh.
And I did that, and I got 2 of them, right? And I was like, okay, let me get relish on that. And other things. But they put like a normal amount of the rest of my condiments on top of my hot dogs, and then they put an entire jar of relish. To the point where I'm like sitting there trying to eat this hot dog, and there's just like a pool of relish on the plate, and it's like falling all over the place.
Pickles,
and I'm
everywhere.
like, this is so much pickle relish.
This is how they get you with the hot dog buffet.
But that just made me think of like more than one thing I've ordered at a restaurant.
I want you told me earlier you were having you were going on a diet, which is why you got a sugar-free Red Bull.
Yeah.
That tracks. I'm also on a diet. Today for lunch I had an apple. But in addition to that apple, I did eat 4 hot dogs.
That's really good for you, I'm sure.
They were Nathan's, man.
Nathan's delicious.
So people keep saying Nathan's saying by bun length. No, I like my hot dog to look like a hot dog. I don't like these long dogs, because that's really close to long dong. Okay. And
So are you buying bun
myself.
length or are you buying the Nathan's footlongs?
I'm buying regular length, whatever regular length is. The bun length is longer than regular length.
Okay, but you get footlongs from Nathan's. The long boys.
No, I'm getting the short boys.
Okay, well, that's what you get from Nathan's.
Well, I'm a ballpark guy, right? So
You should really try the Hebrew National.
okay, that's what I'll do next. Do you know how inexpensive it is to get into the hot dog game and try them all? You could have so few crab legs for the amount it costs you to get.
I
every
remember
brand
when
of
we were
hot dog.
When we were doing Maymester, I remember I ate for multiple meals. I ate hot dogs on white bread.
Yeah, we were so broke.
Oscar Mayer hot dogs on the 89-cent white bread.
If I recall correctly, we had like between us like $15 to last us 3 weeks.
Yeah, basically.
And we bought hair gel. I know we bought hair gel and we shared it.
We shared hair gel, and then my mom, God bless her, bought us tickets to see Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Because I remember coming out there and like I was like, we're going to see Jimmy Buffett tonight. And you're like, I don't have money. I'm like, we're going to see Jimmy Buffett tonight. She like deposited money in my account for us to buy tequila and margarita mix.
Yeah. And gas.
And gas. Yeah. What an incredible woman.
Yeah. She really was one of the best.
She really was a good one, man. Like she understood the value of a Jimmy Buffett concert.
Yeah, we were.
What'd you say?
You had just turned 21 like 2 months prior.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you believe that was 7 years ago? Good God.
It's terrifying that like college lasted forever, right? Like when
that was 10 years at least.
When we were in it, yeah, we were there for decades, and I have been out for 14 days.
Yeah, I just graduated. When I saw Just Friends, is that the Ryan Reynolds one?
Huh?
There's a movie where Ryan Reynolds is like a fat kid.
Yes.
And then he goes back to his, that Just Friends?
Yeah.
And they talk about like the Glory Days guys who are like at their home bar talking about like the high school football team. I'm not talking about the high school football team, but I do think about college all of the time. Like my thought process is who's driving and what would Tyler in college think of this? That guy was an idiot. Who's driving is Joy driving, because that's a joke from earlier in the show.
Yeah. Anyway, Black Widow. It's a great movie. Loved it. You should go see it if you haven't seen it yet, and if you feel comfortable going to the movie theater to see a movie. Tyler, tell me about Black Widow while I tally up scores.
So Black Widow is the story of 2 young girls who were sort of like unfairly taken from wherever they were, or they perhaps given up, but they weren't put into like a positive situation. It's very Harry Potter, very hero's journey. Wise uncle Alexei sort of gives them a place in the world, except he's not a wise uncle in the slightest. But it's about these 2 girls who are very young, and they get pulled from their home lives, or they get pulled from whatever the situation is, and they're put into this sort of like Uber spy program in Russia called the Red Room. And basically, they become like the top assassins on the planet Earth, right? But then they like when the younger girl goes through the program, they're not just conditioning them; they're using like special toxins and special gases to like actually control them. So it's not even just like, you know, they're killers because they're trained to be. It's like they're killers because they're not only the most athletic women in the world, but they're also like Like they could just make them stop breathing if they wanted to. You know, like they just got complete control over these people. So basically what happens is somebody develops this nerve agent that when they blast it in your face, they lose that control over you. And so Florence Pugh's character, Yelena, who's, by the way, absolutely hilarious throughout the whole film because it's kind of this fish out of water, this spy girl kind of coming to terms with like being human, but her only memories are from when she was like 3 to 5 years old. So she's like very sort of like young and naive, but she's also like battle-hardened criminals. It makes for a very interesting character who is just like gaining autonomy for the first time. And she is making friends with Scarlett Johansson's character, Natasha Romanoff, who at this point has been like an Avenger for like 8 years. And even still, there's this awareness that she's not one of like the Avengers. And that's kind of like a little bit of a tension there as well, where like, she's not one of the Avengers, but she is the one that's not in jail. So like, that's kind of got its own thing going for it, you know, where like Tony is kind of not in the picture right now because of the Sokovia Accords and all that jazz. So we get all this development. We get these great sort of in-between moments. I also want to stress to you that in this movie, there is a lot of fighting. There's a character we're introduced to called the Taskmaster, which I'm sure for fans who are like really into choreography really means something, like watching sort of how the Taskmaster fights Natasha. I'll say this as somebody who doesn't know a lot about stunt work, but does appreciate when good choreography that I think a stunt person would think is good also translates into what I think like the layman viewer myself is just like, wow, this is not just sort of the regular fight scene that we normally get. There's a lot of thought behind this. I just don't know what that thought is. You definitely get that vibe while watching this because it is
Okay, I got a score.
very clearly very well thought out. We're like not even one act through.
I had to tune you out so hard. Did you breathe that whole time?
I don't know that I did.
I thought about just
on.
not stopping you and seeing how long that would go on for.
I could probably do the whole thing. Rotten Tomatoes audience is 92. Rotten Tomatoes was 80, I think. 80. So just to recap the scores, Tyler 88, Ethan 80. Do you want to hold on to that 80 or do you want to add or
I want to hold on to that, yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 80. Metacritic a 67, which is going to pull this down, I think. Rotten Tomatoes audience was a 92. Before giving me the final score, Ethan, what was kind of the vibe from the listener score?
Vibe from the listener score is that a lot of people liked it, but not as much as Avengers Endgame. There were a couple people that just like hated it for no reason, and there were a couple people that like absolutely adored it. But yeah, everything was sort of in the like upper 70s, low 80s range.
Okay. And what is the final listener score?
84.
84. That is higher than I expected.
Me too. There's a chance I did the math wrong, but I don't care.
Okay, that gives it a bacon and egg score of an 82.95, which of course rounds up to an 83. There is...
Not according to my college professors, it doesn't.
82.95 is actually the exact same score as another film. This is the first time this has happened as far as I've seen. It's not the first time. 81.75 happened for both 1917 and Hearts Beat Loud, although for whatever reason 1917 gets an 83. I'm not sure quite how that works. Anyway, 82.95 is also the score we gave to Mank. So we have a predicament because this is a very hard to compare. Like, what's better, Mank? Or I know what you're going to say is that Mank is miles
No, I think
better
that we have a higher sample size, so give it to this one.
Oh, okay.
More people said that to give that listener score. If that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Like this is more 83 than the
I'm
other one.
adjusting the 1970s score to an 82. And then I'm just making sure that like we didn't mess this up somewhere along the way. It doesn't look like we did. It looks like just that one was wrong.
Yeah, I did that one with Jade from Curly Critics, so I probably messed it up.
Gotcha.
My B.
I've never seen 1917, so to make a judgment against it, against Hearts Beat Loud, I'm willing to bet 1917 is is a more epic film. So just to where are we at? Black Widow comes in at number 15 overall. Now, we actually do have a frame of reference here at an 83 Bacon and Eggs score. Most of our Avengers Endgame does not have a score, nor does the other one.
Infinity War.
I think Infinity War does not. No? That was year 2 also? Must have been.
I have no idea.
Is it even in here? Infinity War was year 1. What are the odds? So just looking at it, these aren't in order, I don't think. But just sort of glancing at it, Captain America Civil War got an 82.
I'd rather watch this than
I would
Civil War.
100% rather watch that. Guardians of the Galaxy was a 93-95. Black Panther 93-93. Iron Man 94-95. But this is all our scores, not necessarily.
Yeah, weighted scores.
Weighted scores, yeah. Yeah, so for me personally, this beats out a lot of these movies, actually. I was like, looking at this, we get Age of Ultron. I gave it a 92. I would say this is better than Age of Ultron. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm more excited for Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
I think it's Shang-Chi is how you pronounce it.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. That looks sweet.
Yeah, I didn't see the trailer, so I don't know how to pronounce it, but I am more excited for the future of the MCU movies. For sure.
I just kind of like the direction we're at right now.
Yeah, same. Stoked for the Loki finale tomorrow.
I am too. I'm really curious where that's going to go.
Yeah.
I'm sticking to the Shadow Realm thing. I do think Mokuba is going to be there.
Mokuba!
Big brother!
Big brother! Freaking Duke Devlin shows up and is like Dungeon Dice Masters. In America.
In America. I'm Weevil Underwood.
God.
And I'm Rex Raptor.
Screw the rules. I have money.
There's been a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh content.
The heart
on
of the
Instagram.
cards is going to guide Loki through the Shadow Realm.
Yes. Lokio.
Yeah, I know. I don't have anything else to say about that.
Lami Loki.
Nope. Okay. This episode of Bacon and Eggs is an episode of Bacon and Eggs. It has been hosted by Tyler Carlin and Ethan Edgehill. Music by Vaishon. Nope. Music by Andrew Scott Bell. AndrewScottBellMusic.com. Graphics by Vaishon Brandon. Graphite.vmb on Instagram. This episode is brought to you by That's What I'm Talking About, a show that will be on shortly with comedian Mary Clay Watt. You can listen to that show here in this preview.
Hello, my name is Mary Clay. If that's too complicated for you, just call me MC. And on That's What I'm Talking About, I'm experiencing the world of J.R.R. Tolkien for the very first time. Now that I've finished covering Lord of the Rings, I'm reading The Hobbit and realizing that it's a very different experience. It takes them like 70 pages to just leave the Shire.
Longer.
In Fellowship of the Ring.
It takes them like
forever.
I think it takes them like 100 pages to get out of the Shire.
I was just fuming. I was like, you mean to tell me that they leave the Shire in the span of one sentence, but it takes them 100 pages in Fellowship of the Ring? That's What I'm Talking About. New episodes every Tuesday wherever you get podcasts.
And check out more great shows at the WB&E Podcast Network, a thing that I love very much. Tyler, you got any final thoughts? Any last Tylerisms?
I really, really liked this movie a lot. I would see it. I would pay money to see it again.
Yeah, I could see it again and still not rack up to $30 plus a subscription fee.
I'm pretty sure I spent $30 on my first trip to the movies.
Not on a ticket, though.
No, not on a ticket, but on popcorn and
Okay, but like you can still get popcorn in your house, and that costs money.
I know. You know what's funny to me, Ethan, is that like you always complain about these Disney $30 charges. I'm pretty sure we have bought all of them.
I haven't bought a single one.
But like they have been purchased in such a way that you have access to them.
Right. But I would object to any of my or our shared money going toward it.
Anyway, no, I have no more final thoughts other than that I really liked this movie.
Yeah, anyway, we'll see you on Monday for the last episode of Loki. Until next time, I've been Ethan Edge, Elise with Tyler Carlin. Arrivederci.
Alexei Shostakov.